Hello everybody, it's Marcia from Oils and Wellness with Marcia. And we're on chapter 24 and we're on the first step. Step 1 to the Oola wheel. Where are you today? It says self-awareness is the ability to take an honest look at yourself, like without any attachment to it being right or wrong, good or bad. Debbie Ford, New York Times best-selling author of 9 books on personal transformation and human potential. Now, bear with me. I have my tooth here is broken, and it's hurting real bad. Like every time my heart beats, there's throbbing pain. I just dosed myself up with this here clove oil. It's a hot oil, but it numbs really good. So my voice might not sound right because I'm kind of numb, but hey, I called to make me an appointment at the dentist office, and we'll see when I can get this taken care of. But until then, I gotta just take care of the pain with my clove oil or copaiba. I'll alternate back and forth. Now, let's see here. As the bright Californian sun sparkled on the warm sand of Newport Beach, I've been there, Eric Smith, reflected on his life. Without a doubt, the past year had been the most challenging he had lived so far. He'd lost his entire family in a series of tragic events. His father had died just a month before, and out of depression and desperation, or both, he'd driven his 2004 Toyota Avalon across the country from Florida to California. His goal wasn't a place, but a pursuit. He was lost and needed to find himself. Having traveled the 2,700 miles from Fort Lauderdale to Los Angeles, he still was without an answer. But that day on the beach, which we're about to change, things were about to change for good. Looking down, trying to cross my leg here. Looking down on the beach, looking down, he saw a copy of the Oola, Finding Balance in the Unbalanced World. Someone's dog-eared copy stuck in the sand above a day of summer reading, turning its pages. Eric read insights and stories he'd never been open to hearing before. It said he was created for a purpose, a unique calling on his life, and no one else was equally equipped to do. That he needed to find gratitude in all things, but the good and the bad, both the good and the bad. It also said he needed a plan if he wanted to move forward and begin living Oola. And then the plan began to his first step. It was time. It's about time I stopped feeling lost, Eric thought. So what do I do first? What do I have to do? I don't know where I'm getting some of these words. Re-energized to make this future a top priority. Eric used the road trip back home to Florida to get real with where he was in all 7 areas of his life. Instead of being stressed and overwhelmed, he felt hope for the first time in as long as he could ever remember. Grateful to have discovered the book in the sand that day, Eric knew this copy was meant to inspire someone else to living an Oola life. He wrote a note inside as tattered copy of Oola about how its message had changed his life, praying that it would fall into the hands of someone in need, and he left it in the bag on the sandy beach in Fort Lauderdale. Just felt a cool breeze. Excuse me. It could have been any book I found that day, he later wrote to us, but for some reason it was this book. I like to think it was destiny. It's impossible to get where you're going without knowing where you're going. When you use this smartphone's map app to get directions, the first thing that shows up is where you are at this moment, represented by the little blue dot. Wow, my husband's phone's loud. Let's see. Little blue dot, where are we at? Plug in your destination, and your smartphone will use GPS technology to give you step-by-step, mile-by-mile directions from your current location to your desired endpoint. Before you go anywhere, you need to know exactly where you are right now. It never asks you about your past and doesn't care what mistakes you've made. It won't even factor in current challenges you might be facing. It simply shows you the fastest route from where you are now to where you want to go. Well, what if your own life plan was that simple? What if you, just like GPS, you judge yourself, take yourself down distracted side roads on factor of time-consuming stuff? You wouldn't just chart your course without bringing in a lot of outside factors to stop you. In fact, if you were using GPS, you wouldn't chart your own course any other way. Starting to build your Oola life. How do you row? If you have ridden a bicycle, you know the wheels are the most important component. To keep the wheels strong, the spokes radiate from the hub, and the valve of the tire helps you keep it full of air. Without the spokes, the hub, and the valve, the wheel, and therefore the bicycle, would eventually stop rolling and come to a stop. Life is a lot like that wheel. The spokes. One of the Oola wheels, there is 7 spokes, each representing one category of the F's of Oola. When the spokes are balanced, the wheel just works. It works forward easily. Okay, the hub. The hub of the wheel is the key. It's the base, the foundation, the core from which everything else emanates. Without a solid and secure hub, even with perfect balanced spokes, your wheel will ultimately fail. If you're cruising along, for instance, and a crisis hits your finances, you could pull the financial spoke off of the wheel and your bicycle will stop rolling. It'll be clunk for sure, but the other spokes would hold it together and the wheel would still work. And a divorce related to that financial stress, talking about another spoke, and yep, your bike would still go. As long as you have a solid hub, you could lose almost everything and your wheel would still row. It would be painful, clunky, and slow, but it would still move forward. What's your hub? This is your question to ponder. What is the foundation on which your life is built? What is your anchor? Okay, here's the valve. Your unique valve system acts like the valve of your wheel. What inspires you? Which F of Oola comes naturally to you and motivates you? This is what makes up your highest values. For some people, it's finance. For others, it might be family or their career or their field. But whatever it is for you, you're gifted in this area, and you didn't have to be asked or encouraged to pursue it. Equally, we all have things in our life we naturally avoid. These are low values. For the Oola seeker, it's finance. He hates spreadsheets and budgets. The Oola guru, one of our other hand, finds the lowest value in fun. Frankly, he would much rather be working in the field. F for field. Intent is to use your hub valves to pump up, keep areas in life that you tend to ignore or avoid. For example, if your highest value is your kids or family, and your lowest value is finances, think through how working on your fitness and if your highest value is your kids or family, for F, and your lowest value is fitness, think through how working on your fitness and overall health will benefit your family. Maybe you'll see a good example for them. Maybe you'll be able to participate in activities instead of standing on the sidelines. And maybe by taking better care of yourself, you'll be around longer enough to see your grandkids have kids of their own. Looking at your own F's of Oola, yours, and I'll look at mine. To get the picture of where your life is now, complete the series of questions starting on the next page. One of each of the 7 key areas of life were designed to help me, score yourself on where you are now. Are you killing it in some areas and completely messed up on others? You can also find an interactive Oola wheel and a printable worksheet containing the Oola wheel at www.oolalife.com/step1. Let's get started. So tomorrow, I need you to go to www.oolalife.com/step1 and then read the first page. I have in here, but you can find it on the website and get yours printed off or copied off, write it on a piece of paper, or so you can have it. And then tomorrow we're going to go over that first part. It might go over several pages because have one for each one. Have one for fitness, one for finance, one for family, one for field, one for faith, one for friends, and one for fun. And then each one of those is a line in the middle of the circle, which is the wheel. And we're going to answer the questions and figure out which part of the wheel that you or I need more help in. But be honest on your answering, because you want to have a good life. You want yourself and your family and everything to be as close to as the best as you can, so you can have a smooth life without stress. And then take the one that's the least and work on it, make it stronger. That's what I'm going to do, and I hope you do it with me. So let's take this. Go to that website. I'll put it in the comments and here in the page if I'm able to edit it that way. And we'll do this tomorrow together. So get yours made out. I'll see you tomorrow. You have a wonderful day. Ta-ta.